Well, today is really difficult. It's my daughter's birthday, and she is supposed to be 22 years old, but she passed away 5.5 months ago, and now I've lost four children. And I just have one thing to say: somebody please make this stop.
Losing one child is so hard. Losing four is unimaginable. A child is so innocent, and they've done nothing wrong. In an instant, it feels like your world came crashing down. When you lose someone you love, it hurts. And the more you love that someone, the more it hurts. Am I strong enough to survive this?
I keep thinking this can't be real.
You feel so destroyed, you can't seem to find the strength to go on. I have so many questions. From the time Shawnee was born, to the time he met his little brother Nathan, he was so full of life. So happy. He was a true people person, always finding excitement. That all changed in Afghanistan. He would never be the same.
Little Sabrina, wide-eyed and happy, she had such a beautiful smile. Learning to walk, trusting that I wouldn't let her fall. She loved all cats and kittens, and her little dog. She served our country. And now our baby girl is gone.
Little Sabrina marched on with her brother into the light.
This is our world now. This is our new reality.
We'll pick up the pieces and carry on until we ourselves are someday called away. Hey everybody, I hope that wasn't too depressing. That was something I made a couple months ago as a tribute to my kids and a little bit about how Michelle and I were feeling. Right now we've started to live again. Each day is a little bit easier. We're starting to go back to the things in life we used to do, but there's no getting away from the reminders we have of our children we've lost. It's been pretty hard. One thing I was going to do was let people know who didn't know what happened, a little bit of the chain of events that occurred. So back in 1993, my second child, Nathan, he died in the night in the crib of SIDS. And I was 23 years old at the time, and I had never really heard of SIDS. I didn't know what it was. And that was pretty traumatic. I can't get that out of my head. And that was back in 93, which was 32 years ago. And I still struggle with that. And so then we were left with just little Shawnee. And then later our oldest daughter was born, and then she had a little brother born after her, and little Justin, he died in the hospital at childbirth. He tried his best to breathe and he didn't make it, so that was child number 2. Babies are different than the adult children. It was a different feeling, a different reaction. And I was younger, Michelle was younger, so we were able to bounce back okay. So we had about 18 years where life with the kids, we had 2 more kids, and the youngest one was Sabrina. And so life with 4 kids was pretty normal, pretty happy. We had a lot of fun together. I really miss that time with all the kids. It's hard to think back and know that so many of them are gone now. I've had a total of 6 kids, and now I have 2 that are remaining, and they're doing pretty good. So anyway, when our oldest, Shawnee, he was graduating from high school, he was looking at going in the military, and of course I'm an Army veteran, and I don't know, the Army was all right, but I thought, why not try the Air Force? So I kind of thought the Air Force is probably more organized, a little bit more, a little less kind of grungy, and I figure the Air Force really doesn't go to war much. So he joined the Air Force. He went into basic training, and little Sabrina and Shawnee were really close, and she idolized him, and she wanted to be like him. And when we went to San Antonio to Lackland Air Force Base, little Sabrina, she didn't want to let go of her brother. And anyway, after that, the kids were growing up. Shawnee eventually got sent to Afghanistan, so much for the Air Force being safe. He was on a forward air base that was tiny, and very bloody tour he did over there, and some of the stuff he said on the phone, he tried not to tell us everything, but some of it was pretty horrific. And he came home and sat on the porch with me, and I noticed right away that he wasn't the same kid that I raised. He said things like, it's weird to be back in a place where everyone's not trying to kill me. And he was pretty haunted by that experience. And like old times, he just got on his motorcycle here and rode through the mountains and the woods and the trees, and that was kind of how he was able to kind of get in touch with his past. But he really struggled after that war. And so our oldest daughter, she was going a different route than the rest of the kids ended up doing. She became an officer in the Air Force. Next oldest boy, Shawnee's younger brother, he joined the Army. And then little Sabrina was still in high school, So, uh, one day I was up in Minnesota with my mom, and I got a whole bunch of phone calls all at once, and they had said Shawnee took his own life. And so I called home and let Michelle know, and then she got a hold of our oldest daughter in college and let her know, and then she told little Sabrina, which devastated her. Sabrina almost got quiet, kind of scary quiet. Um, I had a hard time getting a hold of Shawnee's younger brother because he was at Fort Jackson and they had them in isolation because they were in training. And so I had to make a bunch of phone calls and call in a favor. A classmate of mine who was a colonel, she and her husband were able to get him to call me right away. And I told him that he can finish his training. There's nothing to do back here, or he can come home. But I said, there's not a lot we can do right now. And he was almost all the way through basic training. So anyhow, Sabrina really had a hard time with this, and her local school had they had a wall of honor where they had all the kids who had graduated high school there and went in the military. They had a wall of honor, and for some reason that I'm not sure about, as soon as they heard the news, they took Shawnee's picture off the wall of honor, and that devastated little Sabrina. I think a piece of Sabrina died that day that she found out her brother died. And we all tried to survive that, and we ended up going out to Fort Jackson in South Carolina to our son's Army basic training graduation. And Sabrina was really proud of her other brother, and she wanted, no matter what, to join the military. So all of my adult children were in the military, just like I was, and just like my grandfather was in World War II. And so Sabrina was kind of behind the eight ball when it came to timing on everything. COVID hit, so nobody could come to her graduation. We all had to sit in cars and watch her give her valedictorian speech. I thought that was really stupid. That COVID was really stupid. The way people reacted. So Sabrina went in the Army, and she went to Fort Sill, Oklahoma, basic training there, and they made them do PT and run with their cloth masks on. How they could breathe and do that, I don't know. And once again, we couldn't go to her graduation because of COVID. They just shut everything down. They overreacted. So anyway, Sabrina was in the Army. Something really terrible happened to her when she was at Fort Carson in Colorado. And she struggled. She got out of the Army and started going to Arizona State University. She lived up in Wyoming, and she was doing her best to live life, but she had not only lost her brother, but she lost some of her classmates from school here, and she lost some Army buddies the same way her brother went out and the same way she was about to go out. There was a series of events that happened when I grew up in Silver City, New Mexico, and I had two best friends, Peter and Mauro, and we grew up together and did everything together. All life events, we always checked in with each other, always talking to each other. One day, Peter called me, and he couldn't hardly get the words out, but he let me know that Mauro was killed along with his youngest boy in a head-on collision because some old guy passed a bunch of people and hit them head-on. So this devastated me, and I went to Wyoming and spoke at his funeral. He was a school teacher up there. He was very popular, but this was very difficult. And then I got back from that funeral, and I wasn't the same. I started to feel like I'm losing people, and I'm thinking about them so much that it's like I have one foot in the land of the living and one foot in the land of the dead. And so shortly after that, an uncle of mine that was really close with me, we talked every week. He died of a heart attack while he was rinsing onions to make salsa. And then not too long after that, I was almost killed by a falling pine tree, and a branch of the pine tree went right in my neck. And the doctor said that I was 1 millimeter away from being killed because it almost hit my carotid artery. It broke my skull, and so I was almost taken out myself. And then 9 months ago, my wife and I, we were watching TV, and the phone rang, and it was a call from Wyoming, and I'll never forget the voice on the other end asked if I had a daughter named Sabrina, and I said I do, and he said I'm sorry, Sabrina has taken her own life, and and they saw that she was a veteran, so they said they have her body covered with a flag. So once again, my world came crashing down. This has been really hard because we've been really close with Sabrina, talking to her all the time on the phone, and she seemed okay. She seemed like she was doing all right, and a lot of times she would laugh with us, and so it really kind of caught us off guard when this happened. And so we're just trying to pick up the pieces. At first, I didn't know how to function. If you looked at me 9 months ago, it was like I was laying on the couch looking up and couldn't get myself to do anything or care about anything. But that's since changed. Um, so, uh, anyway, this this has been hard on my wife and I and our two remaining children. Our oldest daughter, she's doing pretty good under the circumstances. She just had a baby, and so I got a little grandbaby, and her mother instinct kicked in, and her mind is protecting itself the best it can. And then my other boy, he got out of the army, and he became a diesel mechanic and works on generators in Colorado and Utah for a huge, well-known company. And I hope he's doing okay. I talk with him all the time. I know this affected him. But anyway, things have been challenging. So to help cover the costs of Sabrina's death, the VA gives a death benefit of $970 some, which doesn't cover much. But the other day, Michelle and we went in the post office because that's where they give out the flags. But I went in and turned in the paperwork and got Sabrina's flag, and it's folded in a square apparently. And I'm gonna ask the Prescott American Legion if they can help fold this into a triangle. So I have two kids buried in the Memory Lane Cemetery in Silver City, New Mexico, and the other two's ashes are with us. My wife and I have decided that at the time one of us passes away, these two kids, Justin and Sabrina, will be buried with one of us. I'm getting really tired of dealing with death right now, but we're starting to move along again. We're starting to get back up and do the best we can. And that's part of the reason I'm doing these videos, is because I'm not going to just die without helping somebody out there, whether it be you're going through something similar. You could have lost a loved one, and I just want you to know you're not alone. I've had an amazing life. I've done a lot of really amazing things, and I have some experiences and some advice that I can give to people that are younger than me. I can entertain people that are my age or older. So I'm going to be releasing several videos a week, if that's not too ambitious, because after everything that's happened, not only having an amazing adventurous life, but having so much loss, I have a different perspective of the world and of religion. I grew up Christian, and I just have a different viewpoint than I had before with all of this loss. And it's kind of a step back from everything. It's everything that the world says right now just seems like a lot of noise. But I have a perspective that I didn't have before. And normally I'm a pretty fun guy. I love life. I like to laugh. I like to joke. I keep friends for a very long time. And I'm going to turn this into a positive situation. So if you guys are interested, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And when I put out a video, I think you're going to be pretty amazed at some of the things that I show you and say. And I think you'll be very entertained. I'm not going to put out really a whole lot of depressing things. A lot of it's going to be very fun. Some of it might be a little deep, but I would really appreciate you connecting with what I have to show you. So because I was creating a YouTube channel, I made this studio, and it's a little bit representative of my life. And I like peppers. I like Tabasco sauce. I also created kind of a cheesy theme intro for my channel, which will be Bewley the Kid, which refers to my nickname in the Army. It's derived from the fact that I was from New Mexico, and a lot of the soldiers thought I was from Mexico, and I said, no, New Mexico. And I was from the town where Billy the Kid grew up. And so I ended up being Bewley the Kid, because that's my last name. And also, two of my boys are buried in Silver City, not too far from Billy the Kid's mother's grave. In fact, when I take a picture of my kids' graves, Billy the Kid's mother's grave is right in the background in the same picture. And so anyway, till the next video, take care, God bless, and we'll see you again. Thanks for watching.
Bewley the Kid.